What's up, everybody listening on their radios? This is Sports, Politics, and More, live from New York City. I am your host, Andrew Pollack, joined as always by the wonderful Frank Todaro. Frank, good evening, sir.
Yes, Andrew, how are you?
Were you laughing during the intro?
Yeah, I don't know, because it's your signature there. When you announce the show now, when you announce the opening of the show, it's becoming like a classic. I like that.
Oh, it is.
What is it? What is it? Hello, everyone, and what?
No, it's what's up, everybody listening on their radios.
Oh, what's up? Are they listening on their radios, though?
Frank, the way radio is now, you can listen to the show on your phone, computer, or even TV now.
It's like radio is almost an outdated term. It's like the young kids would call the streaming.
I don't know.
We're streaming a broadcast right now to five people listening. Anyway, everybody, welcome to Spam's January 10th, 2018 episode. Andrew, I thought this week was going to be a little slow as far as the news, but I kept digging up, and there's plenty of juicy stuff. I wanted to pick stuff. I'm getting tired of the Trump thing, but it's like every week there's a new.
I'm Donald Trump.
Yes, President. There's always new twists and turns, even though it's all fake, it's all bullshit. But again, I don't want to get laughed us off. But what did I say last week? Just last week when the Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation stuff was starting to catch.
Hillary Clinton.
Yes, Hillary, and remember last week they started saying they're going to open investigations, new investigation. And what did I say? I said, watch, you'll see there'll be some distractions, right? There's always a distraction every time.
What difference at this point does it make?
You know what, Hillary? I'm starting to think it doesn't. It doesn't, because Andrew, I keep telling you, I keep telling everybody, every time eyes start going towards Hillary and Huma. Remember Huma last week? She had emails. A password got hacked and all that crap,
and nobody really cares about her divorce hearing with Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, now they called off the divorce, even though they said they were going to get back together. This is definitely a public publicity move, because divorce would get so much attention and would just bring ugly, nasty facts up again of why she's divorcing him. So this is clearly a publicity move. They have a fake marriage. And again, like I said, I tell everybody, watch, there's going to be distractions. Every time there's eyes on the Hillary and Bill Foundation, there's always distractions. And sure enough, that book came out. That Michael Wolff book came out, Fire and Fury. There's even a PDF. You could read the book. I tried to read the book a couple of pages. I couldn't get into it. I don't know.
It's really hard to understand. It really is. It's like more fake news crap. I don't want to hear this.
Yeah. It's just
fake news.
Yeah, you could just tell. Like, you don't want to. Like, if you know the deal, like, you don't even want to keep reading, because there's no payoff. Like, it's just a bunch of BS, and it's not even doing.
It's basically the same repeated crap on CNN.
Yeah, basically, you're right. And only the drama with that book that's surrounding that book was, of course, former chief strategist for Trump, Steve Bannon, who I don't know what the hell he was thinking about. He basically sold his soul for five seconds of publicity with that book. I don't know.
And now Steve Bannon resigned from Breitbart.
No, he didn't get fired. He didn't resign. He got fired. I don't know what the hell happened to him. He even when that book came out, he disparaged his own. He was the editor-in-chief of Breitbart, and he disparaged Breitbart, saying it wasn't really a legitimate news outlet. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's over for him as far as the political landscape, his career. And now that there was rumors that he was behind this new 25th Amendment thing. Have you heard about it, Andrew? Andrew, did you cut out already?
Oh, the crap with the
Come on, please. We had a good show last week. Don't start with this disappearing thing, okay? All right. He's already disappearing on me. So anyway, so now if Andrew will join back. So now the new thing again now is the fake news media is trying to slander President Trump by accusing him that he's mentally unfit or unstable. If you remember, they tried similar tactics at this time last year. Maybe you remember where psychiatrists and psychologists came out of the woodwork claiming they're from Harvard and Yale, like that means anything, and they're going on TV on these morning shows, and they're claiming now that Trump is showing signs of neurosis. He's not mentally stable. And that woman, Andrew, did you see her? I don't know what's going on. And that woman, psychologist, she went on, I think, MSNBC with her eyes wide open, and she's saying she wants to write a letter to Congress. First of all, if anybody out there even wants to give this any validity, this woman, she lost her license 2 years ago. She messed something up in the process. Not only that, any psychologist, or psychiatrist who comes out and does this without examining a patient, and even if they did, and they did reveal this publicly, it violates doctor-patient confidentiality, and just diagnosing someone and calling them unfit, it violates the APA ethical code. You can't do that. So I could just go and get a psychiatrist, pay him some money on the table, and they could go and say, so-and-so is not mentally fit in my professional opinion. That's not the way it works. So you see, they can't successfully go and impeach Trump with the fake Russian collusion scandal, which is not a scandal. It's basically a Democratic scandal, and that's a can of worms. So now there's this new thing, and it's if you know any law, it's ludicrous, and in my opinion, it's asinine. And there's the 25th Amendment. Well, I'll let the whiz kid Ben Shapiro from the Daily Wire. He'll explain. He'll explain. This is basically an asinine proposition to suggest this.
It's ridiculous. The 25th Amendment was put in place after the assassination of JFK because people were worried, what do you do if the president's in a coma or something? And also with regard to Woodrow Wilson, because Woodrow Wilson was basically in a coma for the last 9 months of his administration, and his wife was essentially president. So I guess you could have President Melania, but people didn't want to do that, so they changed the Constitution. So instead, they went to the 25th Amendment. Here is what the 25th Amendment says. It says, whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tempore
Ben Shapiro!
A written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties
I hate the Young Turks!
President. So basically, the VP and the cabinet have to go to the Speaker of the House and the Senate President pro tempore, and they have to tell those guys, fellas, president's out of it, I'm taking over. So Pence would have to go with the rest of the cabinet. Do you think that's going to happen? Of course that's not going to happen. But let's assume that it did, right? Let's assume that Mike Pence suddenly got it in his head that he was going to take Trump out through the 25th Amendment. So what happens then? That's not the end of the story, okay? Here's the rest of the story. Thereafter, when the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office unless the VP and a majority of either of the principal officers of the executive department or of such other body as Congress may by law provide transmit within 4 days to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. So Trump writes a letter back and he says, I'm not crazy, I'm taking back the office. He gets back the office unless the VP and a majority of the executive department, so the VP and the cabinet, or the VP and some other body set up by Congress, go back to the president pro tempore and the Speaker of the House and says, no, the president really is crazy, don't give him back the power. So what happens then? Now you have a battle between the VP and the president. So thereupon, Congress shall decide the issue. assembling within 48 hours for that purpose, if not in session. If the Congress, within 21 days after the sheet of the latter written declaration, or if Congress is not in session within 21 days after Congress is required to assemble, determines by 2/3 vote of both houses that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the VP shall continue to discharge the same as acting President. Otherwise, the President shall resume his duties.
Okay, so are you back, Andrew? Andrew! He's going to get hung up on tonight, I swear. And then Ben Shapiro's not from the Young Turks. He's from the Daily Wire. He used to work at Breitbart also. But he's a pretty smart dude. And he calls BS when it's necessary. So we got that. Andrew, you there? Andrew, why are you cutting in and out for?
I don't know. My internet's acting up again.
Andrew, do I have to hang up on you?
I hope not. I hope I get my picks in.
No. How about you? How about you stay tuned to the broadcast? What is it now? Every week you do this now. You keep cutting out and not paying attention. Come on, Andrew.
I am paying attention. It's just that my internet went out.
Why are you screaming, saying that Ben Shapiro's from the Young Turks? Not from the Young Turks. He's from the Daily Wire.
I thought he was from the Young Turks.
No, come on, get with it, man. All right, so then we're gonna hold off on your picks because you had a bad week, and then we had, of course, De Niro. Again, I don't know why De Niro is why is this guy even given a voice? He's a senior citizen, over the top, over the hill actor. And he keeps cursing at Trump. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why this guy's even given 5 seconds. So he gave Meryl Streep and these people. We're going to talk about the Golden Globes in a little bit after Andrew's picks. They're all idiots. These people. Are you kidding me? So Andrew, did you hear about this? Well,
I
Andrew,
hear anything about.
Andrew, you got to hang up. Hang up. I want hang up and call back later. Hang up and call back later, all right? Because you're going to ruin the show.
I didn't hear anything about De Niro.
No, hang up. Anyway, so De Niro again. Maybe some of you heard last year when he filmed that commercial where he's going to punch Trump in the effing face. So he pretty much did the same thing again, introducing an award to Meryl Streep. These people, him and Streep, all accused of covering Harvey Weinstein's criminal sexual acts on the women. We'll talk about that too later on. The Me Too. I keep saying every week. It's weird that, like I said, I always preface it by saying that I take these accusations seriously. But why all of a sudden now? Why all of a sudden all these women coming out? So this loser, De Niro again, calling him effing fool and an effing idiot. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that's how Andrew is laughing at me. So this guy, he's just got to go. Who cares about him anymore? And of course, he's an Obama lover, which is okay. But come on, give me a break. And Today News, if any of you've watched, they have a picture of the proposed Obama library that's going to go up in Chicago. I mean, this looks like a big roll of toilet paper. I mean, I'm not bashing it because it's Obama. I mean, it just doesn't look good. If you could go online and Google proposed Obama library in Chicago, it's a big square white building that's like bent in the middle. It looks like an origami. I don't know what it is. And if Andrew gets his act together next week, January 17th, President Trump is he delayed his fake news awards. Andrew, you're gonna ruin the show? Stop fumbling. Hang up.
Fake news.
Andrew, are you going to do the show or not?
I am doing the show. I fixed the Wi-Fi.
Fix the Wi-Fi. You got to fix your brain. Did you hear next week, Andrew? We're going to have a juicy. We're in luck because next Wednesday, Trump is handing out. He's going to host the fake news awards where he's going to give out the
Fake news.
Yes. All right. So okay. So let's get a little distraction going. We're a little bit behind schedule. Time to Andrew, of course, distract the public.
Distract the plebeians.
And death to the infidels. Last week, Andrew, you had a few picks. You mixed in the championship game. This is the NFL and college. You mixed up the college game, the championship game. You had Alabama minus.
Yeah, but I lost because they didn't cover the -4.
There's no. I tell you every week, there's no excuses. This should have happened. That should have happened. Alabama wins the national championship 26-23 over Georgia. By 3, Andrew doesn't cover it. And then the NFL wildcard games started. Andrew, you had the Kansas City Chiefs -9 versus the Titans. Tennessee wins outright 22-21. That's a loss. And then you had the LA Rams -6 versus the Falcons. And the Falcons, again, another upset, supposed upset. They crushed the Rams 26-13. That's a loss. Then you took Jacksonville -9.5 over the Bills. And although the Jacksonville won 10-3, you did not cover. That's a loss. So let's see if you could avoid the sweep this week, Andrew. You had the last game, the Saints -6 versus the Panthers. And the Saints won 31-26 over Carolina. That's a loss. Wow, Andrew. After you had a good week the week before, 5-1. Yeah. You really screwed the pooch last week, going a perfect 0-5, which now brings your record to 33-42. There's no way you're going to ever finish 500 this year. So go ahead, Andrew. You got 2 minutes or less. Give us your picks for this week.
Okay, here we go. First up in the NFC, I'm going to give Atlanta Falcons, the road team, -3 to beat the first-seeded Philadelphia Eagles at Philadelphia. But the other NFC divisional game, I'm going to give the Minnesota Vikings -3 against the New Orleans Saints.
Andrew, your reception's really busted.
My reception's going bad again.
Yeah, I don't. You just New Year. More things change. More things stay the same. I don't understand why for 2 weeks in a row you can't get a good reception, and you're ruining the show. Do you know how terrible?
All
it sounds?
right, so
when we play it back, we got to hear you. Anybody who hears that is going to hang up. Why can't you have good? Why is your reception messed up? We got to go through this every week. You just posted professional grade videos on your YouTube channel. How come you don't get you don't mess up there?
Because they're crafted to perfection.
Yeah, but that's not funny. How come you can't even have a Skype conversation?
I honestly don't know. My friends ask me the same time on Facebook.
Yeah. All right, whatever. Are you done with your picks?
Did you hear my first 2 picks?
Yeah, whatever. Go ahead. Your Falcons.
Okay, lock of the week. Lock of the week. Nick Durst is going to like this one. The New England Patriots on Saturday night, -14 to beat the Tennessee Titans.
Are they at home?
Yes, New England is the first overall seed in the AFC.
I don't know. New England isn't as strong as they used to be. All right. Anyway,
And Pittsburgh -7 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Antonio Brown will matter, so will Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, that game is going to be like a 21-10 game, something like that. All right, good, Andrew. Hopefully you could pick up some more wins next week. So now, I wanted to talk about, and even though I hate anybody who's listening to this show, if you're still listening, I hate celebrities. I have no use for them. They're all trash, in my opinion. But we have to cover this because a big story broke out. this Sunday with the Golden Globes. Andrew, I know you didn't watch, and neither did I, but of course,
I basically didn't watch the entire show.
Yeah. I'm saying, but you did read about it, and of course,
I am aware of Oprah.
Yeah, that's a big term. But of course, going in,
this is how my friend says it. Oprah.
Her name is Opera. But, when she first came on TV, people used to call her Opera. They didn't know her name. But anyway. The sex allegations and the sex scandals and the sexual criminality going on that's being exposed, or so it seems to be in Hollywood. All the actresses, women, females, whatever persons showed up wearing black to protest, and it's all ridiculous because these are the same women who all knew what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on in that community. I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, I didn't know." That's a close-knit community. Everybody talks. Those people are a close-knit bunch. They all go to the same parties. They all hear the same rumors. How do you think they get roles? By word of mouth, rumors. Oh, did you hear this? Did you hear that? So I want to hear this crap that nobody knew anything. But
Frank, listen to this.
In life. Well, look at me. Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
That's what they did for years until Harvey Weinstein was exposed.
No, but see, it's not the men ratting out the men. It's the women speaking up. Now, again, like I said at the top of the show, you got to take every allegation seriously. But it seems a little weird to me now. All of a sudden, everybody's getting so many people getting accused. And why did everybody wait? I don't know. It's going to make it seem like there's a conspiracy against the men in Hollywood, and this show proved it. By the way, the ratings, Andrew, they went down. This is the lowest Golden Globe since 2012. It went down.
And thank God people did that.
Yeah. So clearly, all this anti-Trump bashing and
the same thing is, it hasn't been the same since Amy Poehler and who's the other lady? I forget. Tina Fey didn't host it. That was good content.
Yeah. But did they host the Golden Globes or did they host the Oscars? I'm not sure.
The Golden Globes.
All right, whatever. But so all this anti-Trump bashing from Hollywood and the rhetoric.
This is why I'm not going to watch the Oscars. I'm afraid Jimmy Kimmel is going to turn it into another unnecessary episode of his late-night TV talk show.
Yeah, something. Yeah. So you're right. All these jokes about Trump and the monologues by these Hollywood assholes.
At least when Seth MacFarlane did it, it was his own original content.
Yeah, maybe, but it's obviously not gaining steam in the public. It's not like people after a year already. Now this is a year. Trump's inauguration anniversary is a week away. It's not like all of a sudden because of all these celebrities every night on talk shows bashing Trump. It's not like the public is turning, going, "Wow, you're right, they're right," and it's not. It's working the opposite way. People are starting to people have been getting turned off to it. Turned off, bored, sick of it. I am certainly, but on this show.
I'm pretty bored of Jimmy Kimmel. The same crappy liberal jokes.
Yeah, it's cheap jokes. I mean, on this show we have to just report the news and current events, and then so the big story out of Sunday, if anybody knows, Oprah Winfrey. Now all of a sudden they gave the left liberals and Hollywood and the Democrats, who are all intertwined. Basically, Hollywood is the extension of the Democratic Party propaganda outlet. So now they anointed Oprah their candidate, their golden candidate in 2020. All of a sudden, someone with no experience who's a billionaire is a great candidate. See, the difference between her and Trump is Trump, even though he had no political experience, he was actually a serious international businessman who was successful. And you want to say he went bankrupt 5 times? Sure. When you take a lot of chances, you go bankrupt. But he, in the end, made his money back, and he paid off his debts, and he's in the White House. So the speech, I'm going to play it a little bit. Who knows what the hell she's talking about?
Because he deals with smart people.
Yeah. So I don't know. Let's listen to the speech. I don't know what she's talking about.
I was a little girl
Sitting
on the linoleum floor of my mother's house in
Okay,
Milwaukee.
so this is where she grabs you and she says how she was poor, she had nothing to do. Meanwhile, she smoked crack in her teens.
Tie was white, and of course his skin was black, and I'd never seen a black man being celebrated like that. And it is not lost on me that at this moment...
What was this, 1920?
There are some little girls watching as I become the first black woman to be given the same award.
Listen, you didn't do nothing. You're just rich.
Speaking your truth.
She got lucky.
The most powerful tool we all have. So I want tonight to express gratitude to all the women who have endured years of abuse.
Yeah. How many pictures have you seen online with her and Harvey Weinstein? They're best friends. You mean she didn't tell me? She didn't know about Harvey? This is all bullshit.
And I think you should know too. In 1944, Reese Taylor was a young wife and a mother. She was just walking home from a church service.
Listen to this.
She attended in Abbeville, Alabama, when she was abducted by 6 armed white men.
Oh, this is 1944, 6 armed white men. Today, in the news, whenever a black man commits a crime against a white people, they don't mention the race. Now it's all white men's fault.
Not been heard or believed.
White men are rapists.
To speak their truth to the power of those men, but their time is up.
Oh yeah, their time is up. So what is that? Is that a veiled threat against Hollywood's elite? You see, this tells me. It proves my conspiracy theory true, Andrew, that this is all these allegations are just a witch hunt and character assassination gets spent. What?
Oprah needs to realize that this is not... Oprah needs to realize that she's not relevant anymore.
Andrew,
I just hope that Reese Taylor died knowing that her truth, like the truth of so many other women who were tormented in those years, and even now.
Oh, she's going around, she's making it seem like every time a black woman was seen in public, she was raped she would get gang raped by white men.
Seated on that bus in Montgomery. And it's here with every woman who chooses to say, me too.
Me too. Yeah, you too, Oprah. You're another one who covered up Harvey Weinstein's horrific crimes.
New day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom...
What are they clapping for? Exactly. I want to know, what are they clapping for? Why are these people clapping? Andrew, you gotta hang up. Andrew, you gotta hang up. Andrew, you gotta hang up, or I'm gonna end the show right now. Hang up.
All right. So everyone, Frank.
Yeah. Hang up. Yeah. Okay. All right. So listen. What? Okay. Yeah, go do what you gotta do. So, what are these people? Clapping about? What are they? What is she saying that they're clapping about? Their time is up. The men's time is up, and you hear later on who's that actress, Natalie Portman, when they have the best director and Ron Howard, and there's five males, and she says, the best director category with all men. Listen, how many women directors are in Hollywood? I don't know. How many of them deserve to be nominated for Best Director? This is all a bunch of crap. Hollywood is a bunch of crap. Look who the message is coming from. From people whose job and career it is to act and pretend. I'm sure some of you have that friend or that you've known somebody in your life who are just liars, can never tell the truth, drama queens, drama kings, and you just say, oh, look, what an actress, or what an actor. This guy, he's such an actor. He's such a phony. Oh my God, she's over dramatic. What an actress! These are the best people in the business. So don't fall for this. It's all a bunch of virtue signaling. These Hollywood awards meaningless. They're just it's just masturbation. As far as I'm concerned, these awards mean nothing. And you're going to say, "Oh, it's the arts." You know, who cares? When the art is tainted with evil, it's not art anymore. Art is supposed to be beauty, inspiring. It's supposed to produce good. But when it's created with blood and evil, it's now no longer good art. It's ugly art, and you could just see it come through in these performances and movies these days. It's just ugly. No longer do you get these beautiful movies, well-acted movies. It's all ugly. Everything now, of course, is about diversity. They try to reboot all these old franchises, like Ghostbusters. It's with an all-female cast, and God forbid you say the movie sucks. You're a misogynist. You hate women. So anyway, and now I'm forced to read the news. Not that I don't mind, but it's just I don't know, Andrew. I don't know, Andrew. I can't get. It's my fault. I'm the sucker. I've said it. I said it last year. I put up with it. I guess I like Andrew, and I give him. It's his show too. I don't know what to say. I can't. It's like I can't say, Andrew, you're not allowed to do the show anymore. It's his show too. But maybe I should use the 25th Amendment on Andrew. How about that? I should go to Jules and say Andrew is no longer fit to carry out his duties every Wednesday night. I should have did that a long time ago. Anyway, but I don't know. Andrew will hopefully his Wi-Fi will miraculously kick up. What happened to Andrew? What happened to your Wi-Fi booster that you bought that you were setting up a month ago? Oh my God, this guy he's been doing this for well over a year. Even when the old hosts Nick and John were doing this show, Spam. It's just, but if I know the audience is probably bored of hearing this, maybe not. But you got to see on his YouTube channel. It's called Andy's Randomness. He uploads professional grade quality videos. So you can't tell me an HD. So you can't tell me it's his Wi-Fi, or it's specifically Skype that ruins his Wi-Fi. I mean, I know Skype does take a lot of bandwidth. It uses up a lot of bandwidth. I don't know. All right. Anyway, so let's start the news. We're a little bit behind, but now Congress is renewing the bill for the NSA to surveil and spy on Americans if deemed necessary. It's 702. It's a FISA 702 Section Amendment Act, and this has been. If you go to C-SPAN and you follow C-SPAN, they brought this up a lot of with the unmasking, especially in the Trump investigation, where actors, and I mean persons, because that's what they can't be revealed, so they get masked. So you have U.S. citizen number 1, U.S. citizen number 2. That's how they're named when there's a surveillance going on in an investigation, and people who are not part of the investigation get recorded and get spied on or surveilled. Those people get masked because in order to protect their privacy. So in the Trump investigation, people were unmasked, or there's a process where you could ask for a particular person or actor to be unmasked, and you have to go through courts to do that, and it's very hard. So, and that's what this whole really insidious investigation is going on, because people in Trump's campaign got unmasked, probably illegally. So there was debate about that. But anyway, well, I'll read it. After a years-long debate over National Security Agency surveillance protections, for Americans' privacy rights will reach a climatic moment on Thursday as the House of Representatives takes up legislation to extend the program of warrantless spying on internet and phone networks that traces back to the September 11 attacks. Of course, you know about the Patriot Act. This gave the NSA and other agencies virtually unlimited power to surveil, but they find loopholes if they want to, trust me. But they're going to extend this because it's very vital. It's vital to national security. So there's little doubt that, like I said, Congress will extend the expiring statute known as Section 702 of the FISA Amendments Acts. That permits the government to collect, without a warrant, from American firms like Google and AT&T, the emails and other communications of foreigners abroad, even when they are talking to Americans. So that would be, like I said, if you're not part of the investigation, you would be masked. They would label you U.S. Citizen 1, U.S. Citizen 2, or whatever. But it's far from clear whether Congress will impose significant new safeguards for Americans' privacy. A bipartisan coalition of civil liberties-minded lawmakers are trying to oppose such changes, while the Trump administration, the intelligence community, and the House Republican leadership oppose them. I don't know. They've shown to be very sloppy. Given that amount of power, they've shown to be sloppy. So it's their fault if they get restrictions on them. Thursday's vote is seen as a crucial test because more would-be reformers are in the House than in the Senate, which will take up the legislation later. If majority support for imposing the privacy protections on the program does not exist in the House, the Senate is unlikely to add them in. So basically, the NSA began collecting Americans' international phone calls and emails without a warrant in October 2001 as part of Bush's administration post-September 11 Stellar Wind program. In 2008, after the program had come to light, so this is secret for all those years, Congress legalized a form of it by enacting Section 702 of the FISA law. That law enabled the program to expand to Silicon Valley firms, not just telecoms, and to all foreign intelligence purposes, not just counterterrorism. It's ridiculous. Listen, if you're getting paranoid, every keystroke you ever do, or every syllable you utter on the phone, it's recorded. It's most likely it's recorded in that big supercomputer in underneath Denver. They call it the Beast. It's a big supercomputer that stores almost every bit of information in the United States and around the world. In 2012, Congress extended the law for 5 years without changes, but the pending expiration of Section 702 is forcing lawmakers to adjust its substance for the first time since the 2003 leaks about NSA programs by Edward Snowden set off a major debate about 21st surveillance technology and privacy rights. Yeah, whistleblower Edward Snowden, he had to flee America. He had to flee Obama's America because he was deemed a traitor. That's what happens when the whistleblower is blowing the whistle on criminal activity within the government. He's deemed a traitor. So chief among them, the amendment would ban the practice whereby officials at the NSA, the FBI, and other security agencies without a warrant search for and read private messages of Americans that the government incidentally swept up under the 702 program. I mean, this is just listen. They're gonna listen to you anyway. They just won't submit it as evidence. So it's how are you going to stop this? So moving along to Trump, everybody's favorite president, and I don't mean that sarcastically. Today he held a press conference with the Norwegian Prime Minister. A very nice woman, she seems. He held a press conference on Wednesday afternoon with Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg, his first formal press briefing of the new year. The event came as the White House and congressional negotiators attempted this week to hammer out an immigration compromise that would protect undocumented young people who were brought to the United States children. The DACA program, supposedly Trump is negotiating in exchange for the wall. Reports are now that the wall is not going to get built. The wall is going to get built. He's going to allow the DACA. He's going to allow the DACA program. It's really not his choice. It's up to Congress. This is Congress's problem, not so much the president. Congress has the responsibility to fix this. All Obama did was issue this as a temporary order It's not permanent. It's not law. So I don't know why people get frustrated. And again, I don't know why so many people are so for people staying illegally. Oh, the children. Well, you know what? I understand that once these children they get into grade school, and they are by right Americans, they're not going to deport those children. They're not most likely they're not going to deport. They're not going to deport those children. I mean, then what about their families? Well, listen, they'll probably start with if you have a criminal record, and they'll probably offer them citizenship. I mean, if you've been in this country for over 20 years, you could file. You could apply for citizenship without questions asked. No, nobody's going to say anything. So the press conference also occurred less than a week after the publication of the blockbuster Todaro book about the Trump White House, Fire and Fury by Michael Wolff, which I explained at the top of the show was a complete dud. Basically, I don't know what happened with Steve Bannon. Former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon was one of Wolff's primary sources in the book. If you've listened to people like Ben Shapiro, it's basically he is the source of the book. And he called the 2016 meeting between Trump, Don Jr., and the Russian lawyers treasonous, among other disparaging comments about the Trump and his family. And that's treasonous is a very serious accusation. I mean, that's one of the crimes if you commit that offers the death penalty without killing someone. And how would he know about this when he wasn't even part of the campaign? So Steve Bannon, of course, as mentioned on the top of the show, he was fired from Breitbart. I don't know what the hell happened to this guy. He got fired from the White House. Basically, as much as they sugarcoated that he was gonna, they spun it that he was leaving. It was planned that he was leaving months ahead, and he was gonna do more for the president on the outside than the inside. Then it comes out that he was one of the big leakers in the White House, leaking to the press, the Times, the Washington Post. So, as Trump calls him now, sloppy Steve Bannon, it's just crazy. I don't understand what happened to him. It's just who knows? Who knows? Once again, politics is one of the most interesting dramas you can watch in real life. So, Trump has, again, if you're a fan of Trump's tweets or not, they are entertaining. Again, he referred to last week in his tweets, he referred to Steve Bannon, sloppy Steve Bannon, that he begged and cried when he got fired. I mean, his tweets are just priceless. I mean, whatever you might think of them. I mean, listen, in a way, Trump is probably the most transparent president of the modern era. He's given you direct, unfiltered quotes. These are his direct, unfiltered quotes. I mean, is he writing them? Who knows? But they are attributed to him, so these are his direct quotes. And you're getting daily. You get at least three or four daily quotes, direct quotes from the president of the United States. Will the next president do this? I don't know. As much as they bash Trump and his tweets, why not? I mean, he basically did this because the media is just so biased against him. Now he's up to over 42 million followers. He has a huge audience, and he doesn't need the media. And of course, he's keeping Twitter in business. They had a study where if Trump left Twitter would probably just fold within months. He brings so much traffic and attention to Twitter. And I'll read some tweets. Again, he's always tweeting about his accomplishments, which was almost an hour ago, cutting taxes and simplifying regulations makes America the place to invest. Great news is Toyota and Mazda announced they're bringing 4,000 jobs and investing $1.6 billion in Alabama, helping to further grow our economy. Yeah, a Toyota plant will be opening in Alabama. I mean, this is big things. Earlier in the day, he tweeted, "The single greatest witch hunt in American history continues. There was no collusion. Everybody, including the Dems, knows there was no collusion, and yet on and on it goes." Russia and the world is laughing at the stupidity they are witnessing. Republicans should finally take control. I mean, yeah, this is ridiculous. How many times do we have to go through this? That FBI agent whose phone text came out claiming that Hillary should win 100 million to 0. This is supposed to be somebody who's not biased, no conflict of interest. He thinks not one single American voter should vote for Trump, and he's supposed to be unbiased. And he's investigating Hillary, and he's investigating Trump. And he, of course, is referring to Trump as an idiot. He's going to save the country from the menace Trump. The guy who is investigating and supposed to be unbiased, he's part of the special counsel. Of course, Mueller was forced to fire him. And also earlier in the day, Trump shed some shade on the fact that sneaky Dianne Feinstein, who was on numerous occasions stated that the collusion between Trump and Russia had not been found, would release testimony in such an underhanded and possibly illegal way, totally without alteration, is a disgrace. Must have tough primary. This is Dianne Feinstein. She's releasing transcripts. I don't know what she intends to do with it won't do anything, just making them look more and more desperate. I don't understand. This is just totally ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. And of course, this is all, as I mentioned earlier in the show, this is really all the evidence is on the Democrats and Hillary and the Obama administration and the Department of Justice. I mean, there's just it's insane. But listen, they must have such power to cover it up or suppress it. As I mentioned earlier, every time the Clinton Foundation and Fusion One gained some steam, and there's some talk in the media about Sessions opening up a new special investigation on Hillary. Somebody commits suicide, or like I said, there's always a big distraction. Now this big distraction was last week with the book, The Wall. It just goes on and on and on and on. I mean, it's just a joke. Every time I hear about that now, every time I hear about Hillary being investigated or the Clinton Foundation being investigated, or the emails, it's like, who cares? It's like nothing's going to come of it. Unless one day there's just a major story where the Congress or somebody announces that they're being indicted. Until then, I'll hold my breath. But then moving on, as we talked about the Golden Globes virtue signaling. I mean, give me a break. And this is pretty funny. Floyd Mayweather, they interviewed him about the Me Too, the hashtag Me Too movement, and he's telling them this is how the interview went. This is Floyd Mayweather, by the way, who's accused, I think, of beating his living girlfriend or whatever. And this is how the interview went, that they were asking a lot of men in light of the hashtag Me Too movement how men can grow in 2008. And Mayweather responds to who? The Me Too movement, women speaking out about sexual assault. Mayweather says, when you say Me Too, when somebody's like, I got a Rolls Royce, I'd be like, me too. When somebody say they got a private jet, I say me too. I got two, me too. So they try to tell him that it's different. And then Mayweather says, well, I didn't know. My Me Too movement from the beginning was whenever somebody said they have, I'm like, me too. Somebody say they got $1 billion, I say, I made $1 billion, me too. Listen, why are they even going up and asking Floyd Mayweather about this? Like I said, somebody who's been accused of domestic violence, domestic assault, and it's not like Floyd Mayweather is a Rhodes Scholar. You know, he's a boxer, and he doesn't have to be smart. But I found this funny clip.
think you're a great fighter, and I want to be just like you when I get up in the ranks.
Shane, I barely know who the fuck you are. The fuck you mean I want to be like you? How I want to be like you? Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold a record for pay-per-view. Me. For the highest gate.
Me too.
The next day at an introductory press conference, emotions were still running high when the boxers met on stage. The animosity was business as usual for Mayweather. Clearly,
This is who they're asking about the Me Too movement, and this is a story. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
I'm a dog. I'm a gorilla. I talk the most shit. I'm the most flashy. St. Patrick's Day. Kid looking like Avatar. You see me?
Me too. I say when somebody says I got 3 mansions, I say me too. I got 2 mansions. Me too. This whole thing, the Me Too movement. Again, I'll say it every time. Yes, we got to take it serious. You must take these allegations seriously. But why now? Why is it? It's like the dam broke. How come all of a sudden all these women, all of a sudden now they all found the courage? Why? Because one person came out. Did that give the other women courage? And it's not just one person that they're accusing. Now, different women are accusing different men of power, men in prominent positions, men who have been, who are in high positions in their companies or their brand. Why? And I suggested this maybe, is this a witch hunt against men in Hollywood or in the entertainment industry? And it's as crass as that sounds, but then you see and hear the rhetoric from the Golden Globe Sunday, and you see it's all about bashing the white straight men who are rapists. They're born rapists. They're evil. They are responsible for all the evil and oppression of the women. They are the patriarchy. The category, the nominees for Best Director, and they have to, Natalie Portman has to say, oh, it's all males. Why? Why do we have to include a woman? If a woman deserves it, she'll be there. I doubt, is it really that much, is it really that much sexism in Hollywood that people won't get nominated if they, even though they're deserving? Even the racism, is it people of color or non-white people, what, they won't get parts because they're black? I don't think so. I mean, in 2018, isn't Hollywood the most progressive and liberal place on earth? Listen, the only color I think people in Hollywood, the powers that be in Hollywood care about is green. If you're purple, I don't care. They'll put you on film. If you could draw money, if you could sell tickets, if you could sell DVDs, if you could sell merchandise, they don't care what you look like. Okay, they don't care what's in between your legs or what you identify as. They dress men in as women and make movies. Medea. You know, they don't care. Well, but that part should go to a woman. No, it's funny because it is a man dressed as a woman. Not that I approve of it, but it's been going on forever. And this notion that now the casting couch, where women have to spread their legs to get power, that's been going on since the beginning of Hollywood. But listen, there's a lot of women that are compliant in this. They're compliant. They know the deal. And even that witch, Ashley Judd, where she was reported, she told Weinstein, "Oh no, you don't have to rape me. It's okay. You could have sex with me in exchange for a part." So Weinstein was going to force himself on her. She's like, "No, you don't have to force yourself. I'll open my legs to you. Just give me a part." And listen, he's somebody who gets away with it over and over and over and over and over and over for months and years and years and years. Is he that powerful that people are women are so scared of him, men are so scared of him because nobody comes out and accuses him publicly. Yeah, you hear about these tough guy actors who call him up and say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to kick your ass." He holds power over them too. So now, why all of a sudden did this break? Why did it break? I don't understand. Anyway, we're coming to the close. My voice is cracking, but that's okay. Next week, let's see how entertaining Trump's fake news awards are going to be. I'm sure they're going to be very, very, very entertaining. Andrew, again, if you're listening, I know he's not even listening. I guarantee you he's not even listening. I had to bail on him tonight because he was just. I'm not going to do the show with static. When I play back the show, then it's unlistenable. Hearing static, hearing somebody underwater, and not only does it affect him, then it affects my voice too. But enough of that. I guess I'm just looking on Twitter right now just to see if there's any breaking news. It's just right now there's nothing, and I'm sure they'll come up with some stuff just for later on next week. The wall is being contested. Is it going to go up? Is it not going to go up at DACA? So I guess this was a pretty good show. I tried to cover some interesting current events that have to deal with real life, I guess. Somehow, some way, it's a culture. It's a culture war. This is basically what it is: a culture war and a war of ideologies. Anyway, I guess we'll do the plugs. You can catch Andrew. See, this guy, he's so spoiled. He gets plugs. This guy has 5 times more subscriptions than me subscribers on YouTube. Catch Andy at Andy's Randomness. He's you could go and look. He has professional grade videos. I don't know what he's doing. Every 5 minutes, he's giving reports about New York City buses and trains. Maybe that's what he should do. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at EAZZ34. Give me a follow, or I'll follow you back, whatever. So thank you. We'll see you next week, 8 o'clock, same time, same channel. Good night. God bless. Thank you for listening.